Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. Score! Total awesome score! I got an Alcatel. This thing is called... Oh, I keep forgetting this and I got the page in front of me. Alcatel Pop 7 LTE. Now they do have a 16 gigabit model out, gigabyte model that is like 150 some bucks on Amazon. They also have even newer models out than that are probably in around the same kind of money, a little bit more maybe. But this is the 8 gig version. It's about 4 years old. It was actually announced in April of 2016 was the release date for this one. And it came stock with Android 6.0.1 Marshmallow, which, cannot be updated other than whatever security updates they've done, which the last one, according to this thing, was like a couple years ago. That they had the last security update. Now this thing's been freshly reloaded by the original owner. He did a whole fresh restore on it back to factory specs, and I've done update checks and that's where it's at, and it says the last update for security was this date, and it's kind of like good thing I made up a new email address for this thing. So probably not much for security in this thing right now. This is why you make up a email address you don't care about and don't connect it to anything else. And we'll talk about that. I'm going to be doing a versus video between Android and Apple iOS iPad devices as a comparison, good and bad, about both sides of the fence too. We're talking about pricing and all that jazz. Now this has a 5 megapixel camera in the rear, 2 megapixel camera in the front. Does video as well as pictures. Okay, the cameras are they're not bad. They're 720p, so they're not 1080p, so they're not like top-end resolution, but they are really good nonetheless. They're not perfect, they're not pristine, but they are really decent, okay? And like all cameras, no matter what it's on, they're all light dependent. The better the lighting, the better quality of the picture you're going to get out of any camera. I don't care, even if it's a DSLR camera, they're all dependent on lighting. So, moving along, we have a 7-inch screen, TFT, resolution is 600 by 1024 pixels, 16:9 ratio, with a 170 ppi density. We've got a quad-core 1.1 gigahertz CPU in this thing. 8 gigs of main storage, in which case most of that is swallowed by the operating system and the factory programs that get put into it. So you will want to buy an SDHC microSD card, which goes right in the back here, right where you'll also put a cellular card if you're going to get a data plan, because this is Wi-Fi and cellular, this model. Goes both ways. Hence the LTE portion, part of their name for this thing. So it does like 3G, 4G, LTE. Right now I've got it hooked up to our internet router on the 5 gigahertz band, and it's working quite well. And I can go to the 2 gigahertz band as well on the Wi-Fi. I do not have data on this, I'm not going to. Does have Bluetooth 4.1 in it, GPS as well. The microUSB is the front, which is your charged data port, where you can do stuff through your computer or just charge the device, whichever. Now, I had to buy a charge cable for it. I got the thing for free. The guy didn't want anything for it, and I'm like, I'm in. For free? You got it, man. That's awesome. And I was like, thank you very much. This was like really cool. Because I asked him what he wanted, and he said nothing. It's going to a good home. I'm good. 1 gigabyte of RAM. Most of that is swallowed up when the operating system loads and runs its programs in the background, which you can shut a lot of them down. They run in the background. You can't access them through like the background area here, but they are programs that nonetheless they just do their thing, so you can free up memory that way. Otherwise, you're stuck with about 300 and some megabytes of memory left over for running programs with. So storage is 8 gigs and microSD for extended storage. Memory for running software is 1 gig that's built in, non-upgradable. Now they say on the specs here that it's got stereo speakers, and it says 4 speakers, but yeah, there ain't 4 speakers in this, so I think somebody whacked out that little listing. 3.5 millimeter jack, yes, for headphones. I'm going to actually try plugging a microphone in there and see if I can bypass the internal mic and get better microphone sound recordings. See if that helps. Not that there's anything wrong with what's in here, but if I wanted something better quality, I want to try it and see what happens. What else? Well, when it came out, it was selling for about 130 euro. The 16 gig version currently is selling of this version, the Alcatel Pop 7 LTE and 16 gig, currently selling on Amazon for about 150. I think it's 153 or 159, one of the two. The battery is 3240 milliamps, so 3,240 milliamp lithium ion. 1,000-hour standby. Running time, well, that depends all upon the programs you're running, how many are going in the background at once to slow you down too, by the way. So the more programs you have running in the background, the more it's going to swallow you up. So I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to fire up a few programs that we're going to just have running in the background. And what else can we do here that's not going to interfere with anything? Let's go notes. Sure, why not? And let's put our calendar going. Yeah. Oh, we got them all. So, when you press the little square, it pops up these things. These are your background apps. And you don't swipe them. You got to actually press the little X. And that actually closes them out. And that frees up more memory. Otherwise, you're going to chew up too much memory. You will slow it down. I have noticed, like, I've only got a couple games in here. I've got, like, Word Connect. I've got Word Block. Now, they're pretty fast to load and run. Zen Pinball takes a little bit longer to load. Guitar Chord Pro isn't bad for running-wise. It's decent. The Bible runs really quick, so I'm happy with that. I've got resistor programs, capacitor programs, because I'm an electronics freak. A lot of you guys know that, so I want these programs for identifying certain circuits. I don't remember everything at the top of my head. I'm getting older too, so yeah, some things I just don't remember anymore. Surfing on this thing is actually not bad. It's pretty decent. Even watching YouTube videos works really well, so I'm quite impressed. Now, a complaint you'll find about the 16 giggers, when you turn the screen on certain angles, it kind of shades itself out. This one doesn't really seem to do that at all. So, but that was a complaint on the 16 gigger. I don't have that problem on this one, so I don't know what they're crabbing about. I will agree that 16 gig or 18 gig still ain't enough. 16 gig's way better than the 8 gig, but either way, you're still going to want more storage space for a 16 or an 8 gig tablet version. Now, you cannot make phone calls on this, and that was funny because a couple of the complaints I heard was, even the first one on this website, is it good for browsing but can't call? Why is that so? Duh, it's not a phone, it's a tablet. It's not a telephone, it's not a phablet. Kids, it's a tablet. Okay, you can do texting on this thing, like messaging, but it's not a telephone. And some people think they're telephones, and it's like, no. I mean, on my iPad, I can get a phone dialer program, and I can make a phone call on my iPad, but chick-ching baby per minute. Okay, I was pre-warned about that at Rogers. Don't do it. I can port my phone to my iPad. It doesn't cost me a thing. But that's one way of doing things. But to actually make a phone call, this thing does not do that. Sorry. So if you're expecting this to make phone calls, don't. Cellular is data only, okay? But you can do texting with data only, so there you go. You can text. Is there a way to make photos not blurry? Well, how about holding your hand steadier? That would be a good thing. And proper lighting always helps for good photos. And there's one guy whose biggest complaint here is basically about the hard drive being small. Well, what did you expect? And besides, you knew it was 8 gig when you bought it. Like, come on. This is crazy. Now, he also went and bought a 32 gig SD card. That didn't help, apparently. Problem is he didn't tell this thing to shove all of his stuff onto the 32. That's why he's still run out of space now. And so you do have to manually do some stuff in order to tell it to shift programs that it can over to the SD that are built-in apps, but also any new apps to have them go directly to the SD card. Okay, this frees up your internal storage for you, making allowances for what you really absolutely have to have on the internal that you don't want externally, etc. Okay, so where are we with this thing? Like, seriously, I'm at 3 3/4 out of 5. Okay, for me to say this, nothing's perfect. 8 gigs is definitely not enough. I agree. You know, now I knew what I was getting. That's the thing, and I knew I could put a micro SD card in. But I am in agreement with the majority of people that are crabbing about 8 and 16 gig devices. Even Apple at one time had 8 and 16 gig devices, and man, you ran out of space. I mean, you have no upgrade for space, right? Well, of course, nowadays we can do stuff, but you know, we still cannot upgrade the current memory internally into an iPad. Even the big iPads, you can't. I mean, I bought a 128 gig iPad. Apple's got, like, I think a terabyte iPad out now. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, I got a just shy of a half a terabyte in my iMac computer, and that is still way big. And I have tons of space on it available to me. And, you know, and if I ever did fill it, I've got lots of external drives I can hook up to my computer, even to my PC. My PC's got like about 5 or 6 hard drives sitting in it of various sizes, because my PC is taking the bath of all the programs I want to store and use, and data I want backed up and stuff I have on those drives. You know, but with my iPad, I'm a 128 gig iPad, and believe me, that is like way overkill for my purposes. You need to buy a device, even if it's Android, you need to buy an Android device that is going to be suitable for your requirements on the internal storage, on the amount of RAM. Okay, the more RAM you can get, the better it is. This has got 1 gigabyte of RAM for memory, for running software with, 8 gigabytes of storage, but you have the external storage you can do as well. So you can actually fill up a bunch of cards if you wanted to have all kinds of stuff and just swap and go stuff, which is kind of nice. I'm going to be doing a video too, by the way, guys, on a versus video between Apple iPads and Android tablets, so you guys can really, really, truly understand the difference between them and the pros and cons to both sides of the fence as well, okay? Because I think that's an important video to be able to bring to the YouTube community to help you guys out, and girls as well, on your choices and decisions on what you're going to buy or maybe not buy. But I think as far as this thing goes, though, it has cellular, it has Wi-Fi, awesome. It's got a 5 megapixel back, 2 megapixel front. Yes, they're 720p, that's fine. Yes, they are light dependent. All cameras are. I don't care if it's a DSLR camera that costs you $20,000. It's still light dependent in order to get really good quality pictures. Just that the more megapixels you have, the better things get. That's all there is to it. And of course, you need the resolution to support as well. I think that as far as the color palette goes on this, for colors, it's very good. Icons are represented very well as far as the color goes, and the quality of the picture of the icon, of what you're looking at that you want to launch for a program. I think that the pixel depth, basically, is what I'm talking about, is extremely good. That's really nice and clean and crisp. It's a very nice display, so I'm quite happy with that. It's not that hard to use these devices. I've run Android for years, and of course I am running Android once again, which I haven't done in a long time. But hey, it's like getting back on a bicycle. You'll remember, like, boom, 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 right? And that's kind of where I'm at. So 3 3/4, I think, is fair. Like I said, you won't have the screen problem on the 8 gig version, where it kind of goes and does some weird stuff. It doesn't appear to be doing that sort of ghost out kind of thing like some people are talking about. If there is anything, it's very minimalistic. Whereas the 16 gig version apparently is very, very bad, which I have seen on a YouTube video, the 16 gig version of this same one, and it's very bad, so kind of maybe shy away from the 16 gig version. I don't know. But there's everybody has a different opinion on what they think of these things, and that's for sure. I have an Alcatel flip phone, by the way, guys, and I like it. It's a great little flip phone. I use it as a backup phone, or when I'm just sick and tired and bored of using my iPhone, I just pull my SIM card out of my iPhone, and I throw it into my flip, use my flip for a few days, pop it back out, pop it back into my cell phone, into my iPhone, and I'm back and happy again, right? It's kind of a mood thing with me. I have mood swings with that sort of thing. But I do like this tablet, though. You know, not just because I got it for free, but because it is a really cool tablet, and I have some programs that I'm going to be testing as well against the iPad. Same programs, just different operating systems, and we're going to see, you know, what some differences may be there, just to see how they do. Now, this has definitely got a smaller screen than my iPad, which is fine. It's not a big deal. We're not going to concentrate too much about bone picking that one apart. But where I stand with it right now is if this is something that you could live with for the 8 gigs of storage part, and the fact you only get 1 gigabyte of RAM, then maybe it's a good thing for you to get. It's very simple. It's a very basic system. You can expand the memory in it. As far as storage capacity goes, you do have to remember to shut down your apps that are running in the background. Remember to go to that little square box, push on it, and then just tab out of your programs to close them to free up memory again. Otherwise, it will slow you down, or eventually you may just get a memory error saying, "Out of memory, can't launch program." Duh, close some, would you? Yeah. But yeah, anyways. So I think it's pretty decent. I'm going to try my smart home security app as well on it, as well as my other smart technology apps, and see how well they run under Marshmallow, or if they're going to run under Marshmallow, you know, for the Android OS that's on here, because this operating system is non-upgradable. And you will find that in the majority of all Android devices, phones or tablets, is that you cannot upgrade the Android operating system, okay? Some, yes, but the majority, not going to happen. Or if it does happen, you might get 1 or 2 updates, and then you're stuck, right? And right now, I think they're up to, what, Android 10 by now? I know for sure 9 something, and this is like stuck on 6. So that's another thing to consider, you know, so if you're worried about security, don't do online banking on Android 6. It's not going to be secure. I don't think so anyways. And I made up a whole new email account and everything that is not connected to any of my other systems, because I usually sync all my devices, and I could have had this one do it too, but I thought, you know what? No, I'm not going to do this because that's too far out of date even for my taste. But it still runs a lot of current software that I've been downloading. Can't complain there. But anyway, we'll go further in depth when I do the versus video for you guys. But if you can live with the certain things, or if you just want to get something like this for like your kid, to give them something cheap to just play around on and do some stuff, basics, definitely do that. I think that's worthwhile for this thing. It still has a lot of functionality to it, very functional. It is still running a lot of current software that's out there, that's on the Play Store, so not a big deal there. And I like the compactness of this. That's a lot more compact than my iPad. I can shove this in my jacket pocket easy, you know, and just play video games in the car if I'm waiting for my wife to come out of the grocery store or whatever. You know, I could take this with me and have a bigger screen than my phone, and, you know, type of thing, right? It has a lot of uses that it's going to get, that's for sure. Anyways, in the meantime, thanks for watching, guys, and hanging out. We'll be sure to catch you guys on the versus video for this, probably in a day or two. We'll see how things go. You'll know when it's up if you're subscribed to my channel and you've nailed that bell for notifications. When that video is up, you'll know about it. So until then, see you till next time.